my God, I am in over my head here. Welcome back to Sticks and Tricks. I'm JJ Young. This is, as you know, a borrowed little special edition of Licks and Tricks with Ethan Makowick, but I'm JJ Young, and I'm talking about a different instrument today, and it's the drums. Yeah, and I have a very exciting guest with me. A lot of people know him. He plays in a lot of projects. He's a young fucking superstar, man. He's a prodigy. His name is Brandon Kaltenbaugh. Brandon, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm so good, man. And I know we've been talking about doing something like this for a long time.
Oh yeah.
And it feels really cool to get you down here, because I think between you and I, like, we were the ones that kind of formulated the idea to do something like this.
Yeah, I mean, you're giving me too much credit for that. It was mostly you, but I was just like, oh, that sounds awesome.
You know? No, I mean, it takes two to tango. You know, I mean, I wouldn't be interviewing anybody if you weren't sitting there. But you're definitely one I'm very excited to talk about, and I'm glad to have you here, Brandon. First question: if it's in short order, how many? List all the projects that you play in.
Okay.
It might take a minute. Yeah. But that's okay.
Yeah, I hope you guys have some popcorn.
Yeah.
But
sit back.
Yeah, we got Cutting Ties, Rick, Unfinished Evolution, Palm Bodies, my own solo stuff, and then, you know, the various School of Rock things.
That's awesome. Brandon, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Whoo, boy. Brandon, when did you pick up sticks for the first time?
Actual sticks, my 9th birthday.
Okay.
But for like 6 months leading up to that, I used to do Taekwondo, right? And
word.
One of my friends, he had moved there like 5 years prior to this exchange. He moved from China, and I went over to his house. And I was enamored by the chopsticks, honestly, because they were like plastic and fancy, right?
Sure.
So I went over to his house one time and came back with 100-pack of chopsticks, right? And my dad had an old briefcase just like lying around. I found it, and I took all the chopsticks, and I broke every single one of them on that thing. And they're just like, well, now that you kind of destroyed my briefcase, we'll just get you a toy like First Act kit. And then I broke that within a month.
Sure.
And then that Christmas I got my Rogers, which is my baby.
Oh my gosh, a Rogers. That's awesome. So I like to think a lot of drummers can agree that if you are a drummer, if like that's your thing that you do, anything is a drum kit if you try hard enough.
Oh, 100%.
And anything is a drumstick if you try hard enough. So that's very. I like that story that you started out with chopsticks and you're like, okay, these are two things that I hold, and let's whack things with them, and the rest is history, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you started when you were 9. Some other people I've talked to, they've started. I'm surprised you weren't like like a 3-year-old or like a toddler, busting out some drum stuff. Like Jake started like very young, and so did Eli. He said he started when he was 2. But
wow,
yeah, that's
ridiculous.
That's nuts. And I don't think that I've been doing anything that long consistently. Maybe breathing,
yeah, exactly.
Eating food. But anyways, regardless. The one thing that I wanted to get started with you is, I mean, you play a lot of genres, right? Rick is like noise, punk, whatever, crazy. Cutting Ties is, in the metal piece, and all across the board. And we were just talking about before we started the JD Beck and that Them Changes session that he did with Thundercat and Ariana Grande, bonkers. So how do you kind of put your Brandon personality and your style into all those different genres to make them your own, but also at the same time define them, as their own? Because it's hard to play different genres. I'm not a jazz drummer. I can't play metal, but like you successfully, bust them all out. So, how do you make that happen?
Short answer is I play way too much because that's something that I like to do. But whenever I have to rein it in, I try to think outside of the box as much as possible because, you can always get, your standard 2 and 4, just kind of that kind of thing from like Superior Drummer. But, I try to think about things from a different like angle. So if I'm approaching like a singer-songwriter track, I'll think, how can I make this sound like it's either Jeff Porcaro or like Bill Bruford or both, or just kind of like take some elements of jazz. But like one of the big things, like a revelation for me whenever it came to writing drum parts, was Fragile and Close to the Edge.
Nice.
Because Bill Bruford is the weirdest dude. Like, whenever it comes to that stuff, like, you would never think, like, long distance runaround, he's hitting the snare every 5 beats.
Yeah.
And it's just so weird.
Can you show me one of your favorite Yes drum parts right now?
All right, yeah.
Yeah, let's set the stage.
I haven't played this in so long. Oh my God.
Hit it.
All right, I don't even know if that's right. It's Close to the Edge. I need...
Either way, explain what you're doing there, because that is mind-boggling.
Okay. You kind of put me on the spot here.
Sorry.
I haven't played this in a long
That's
time.
okay.
So basically, the
This is Close to the Edge that you're doing here? Okay, cool.
So basically, the first part, like after the super ambient intro, it's that crazy like atonal-ish kind of guitar thing, and then the drums are filling in all the space.
Sure.
So it's like. You know, so like if I can remember correctly, I'm pretty sure it's in you know, that kind of thing, and God, it's just like doing the triplets 16th notes. I don't exactly remember. It just depends on how you think about it.
Sure.
But it's just using different rudiments and just combinations of like doubles and different hands,
Right.
to kind of get that sound. And I'm probably totally butchering it right now, but
It sounded pretty good to me. I'm not even going to attempt that, but that sounded awesome. So you mentioned rudiments, and rudiments is a big part of like, you know, becoming a drummer and like the foundations of everything, right? And in my past conversations that I've had with some other drumming friends on this show, I've mentioned that like coming up as a drummer, it's really, you know, it can be the least rewarding upbringing because there's like not as much immediate results. I mean, anybody can do that, you know, but like then, you know, to put it all together, is like not really the most
satisfying
immediate thing either. Yeah. So how did you, when you were learning and whatever, how did you grind through the tough times and, you know, keep that going?
All right, so I probably went about this like the complete wrong way. Sure. Basically, like whenever I was starting, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know what I needed to know, and I didn't know what I didn't know. You know.
Sure.
So I was just listening to like Black Sabbath and AC/DC and Buddy Rich, and just like trying to do that kind of thing, like how I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And then I discovered Neil Peart.
Oh, rest in peace.
Yeah, I know, dude. Many a tear was shed that day.
Sure.
But it was one of the drum solos. I think it was like 2010 or 2008. And it was like the drum solo. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. But
for who? Neil Peart?
Yeah.
Was it on one of those, like the Time Machine tour or something that they were doing?
I think so.
I know there's
I think
the
it was
one.
like Copenhagen?
Yeah, I've probably seen it, but like those are the solos where he has like the acoustic hit and then the stage turns and does the electric shit. The thing that I notice about him and when he's soloing is like the patterns that he's holding down with his feet are nuts because then he just like goes anywhere. It's like it's not just like 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. It's like,
well, I mean, he does that at certain points, and he's just doing absolute like insanity over that. But it's also like I think he was doing a clave at some point.
Yeah.
Like that.
And
I
just
don't remember
going anywhere over that.
Oh yeah. It's like it's some insane like Dave Weckl type shit.
Yeah.
Like, and I, you know, took way longer for me to get into him. But basically how I started, I like would watch videos of people doing stuff and like I would try to put it together. But lesson videos from YouTube since I'm, you know, a 2002 baby, you know.
Whoa.
Yeah, like right. But there was this lesson video on the crossover that he does, like, and that's like kind of the first time that I remember putting something together that was like actually like that kind of thing. But I put off reading for so long.
Can you read music?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. I can't, but it's like I learned like when I was in drum lessons. Have you taken formal drum lessons?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because that would be nuts if that was all self-taught. But you're talking about the crossover thing. Can you like demonstrate that?
I don't remember it.
So like the crossover thing that I can think of is just more like that kind of.
Yeah, it was like. Yeah.
It gets really like, I think drumming is almost is tough for your brain anyways when you're first starting out, but then like when you're literally crossing wires here when this happens.
Well, I mean, you're already doing that with this.
Yeah.
So like
that's true.
In my brain it's not any different, and in a perfect world I would have just kind of did the thing that other people do when you just kind of like, oh, this is the one that's closest here.
Yeah.
Cuz open-handed drummers are some of my favorites.
Sure.
Like Billy Cobham, come on. Like that
do you know of Alon Rubin from 9 Inch Nails? He's like a younger dude, but he does all that, like, he's like the open-handed guy.
Mm-hmm.
But like his fills sound more unique than anybody's because he's
exactly.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, so we talked about practicing and like, what's your favorite rudiment?
Either the 6-stroke roll or the patafla-fla. I'm not gonna lie.
Patafla-fla. Show us all those two.
So 6-stroke roll.
Yeah, you're good.
It's just
slow it down for everybody.
Right, left, left, right, right, left. It's a grouping of 6 notes, obviously, and you can either play it as a sextuplet or as in like 16th notes.
Mm-hmm.
So like, or that wasn't right, but and that's also kind of like a permutation of the Paradiddle Diddle. So like,
Paradiddle is right, left,
right,
left,
right, left. Right, or the Paradiddle Diddle or the Paradiddle?
Wait, what you just said?
Okay, so Paradiddle Diddle is the right, left, left.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, got it.
And that one took me forever to get. I don't know why. Like, Paradiddle, like, everybody knows that.
I was talking about this with Eli and how, like, widely used paradiddles are. Mm-hmm. It's probably, like...
I don't find myself using them that much consciously. Like, I don't consciously think about rudiments ever.
It's definitely... I definitely don't either. There's probably dudes that are that calculated that do that, but that's definitely the one I feel most comfortable with. Like, if I'm soloing and I want to consciously inject something into it, I could be like... But I'm single strokes or where I live. But
see, it took me a while to get into like rudiments and like the doubles and everything, just because like, it was just kind of a foreign concept to me. But then whenever I started like putting the work in, then I was just like, oh, this is great. I don't have to work as hard.
Sure.
Yeah. So like, why do if you can do, and like it has a different sound, obviously. Like that. There are certain applications for certain things, but, just, like, in general, everyday things, I don't find myself going, like, like, it's just...
Right. So what we talked about what you were, like, what you came up practicing and learning and whatever. What's something that you're, like, working really hard at right now to get better at?
Oh, God.
Like, recently, like, what were you hashing out, like, yesterday or last time you played?
Actually, yesterday I was working on a Mars Volta cover that I posted earlier today, but... a lot of jazz and like Latin kind of things. I've just been kind of working on it like in the background because I've had like a bunch of projects that I've had to work on. But the different Samba patterns and bossa patterns, like.
See, it feels more comfortable. Like you were doing the hi-hat right, but I don't know. I have to.
Well, I mean, you can do that.
It's not. There's not a right and wrong, but like whenever.
But I mean, could also splash it like.
Oh shit. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's just like useful, like practical application kind of stuff. Because it's not every day that you're gonna, go to a session and be like, hey, we're doing like 200 BPM, like real crazy, like fast swing. It's just like you don't need to be able to. Like, you don't need to be able to do that on, like, an everyday basis.
Whiplash shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, that's even crazier. Like, that, I was trying to learn that for a while, and, like, I had to use two hands, like... Yeah, like, how anybody... If, I don't know who drummed on that track, but, like, if they were doing that with one hand, that is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a lot of stick control.
Yeah, and, to kind of, like, further answer your question, like,
Sure.
brushes, like, because I've been finding myself needing to know how to do that for a couple things that I've needed to record, and I'm severely out of practice with that, but I'm working on it.
That's a dark art, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Another shout out to Alex Peck, my drum teacher, one of my good friends. He, he's got
the figure eight,
the thing down, man.
Yeah.
And I did a few lessons on that. I'm like, this isn't for me. There's nothing loud about it.
There's nothing loud about it.
It's just you're just swishing, man.
Yeah,
but it's fine.
Right. And it's keeping the swish in time and like accenting certain parts, like in the motion of the stroke. Like I don't even know that stuff.
It's like the subtlest shit ever too.
Yeah, and it's just like even within like jazz ballads, I recorded one for
like the background of any Sinatra standard.
Yeah, like that one. I think this was a McCoy Tyner one. It was a Sunny Side of something. I don't remember the name, but it was brushes, and I was recording it for the saxophonist audition for a college.
Oh shit!
And Eric DeFade hit me up about it because he's the jazz director at Lincoln Park. But he was just like, after we recorded it, he was just like, "Hey man, you didn't really play the bridge right," and I'm just like, "What?" He was just like, "Yeah, like you're supposed to go to like a double time kind of thing, like with these certain scenarios." And I was like, there are rules like that? I'm just like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Sure. And I would like to call myself a jazz drummer, but I am very much so not yet. I'm trying.
That you did that pretty fast swing pretty convincingly. Is there any type of like keys to jazz that you can kind of display and show the people that like you think are just like, if you're going to just like dip your toes into jazz?
Okay.
What's like square one?
First off, having as much independence between your four limbs as possible, because, depending on who you ask, a lot of people think that this boy doesn't change. This generally doesn't change.
Yeah, everybody thinks it's...
Yeah, and like that's kind of the standard kind of thing. It's like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then you got to learn about feathering. It's like... I'm still not even really good.
Cameraman,
like,
can you get his foot?
Yeah, like you're not even supposed to like hear that. You're supposed to feel it. It's just like the most.
Show the feathering shit.
All right.
Can you get in there?
I think I might.
We'll edit this out.
But like. Like that kind of thing. Like it's just. That's what you're supposed to do. That's too loud. Like this is almost like this is right in kind of like the sweet spot, but it's keeping everything else at a normal level and then doing that just so that you can kind of follow like the boom 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 boom. Yeah, but
that's still too loud. Is your heel down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, always.
Yeah.
Like you can't do that.
You would wear yourself out if it was heel up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For those that you don't know, there's like two there's like
cam. We got feet cam.
Yeah, get the foot cam.
This is premium.
Foot job. No, there's like two basic ways to hit a kick pedal. Brandon, would you like to explain heel up and heel down?
So basically, depending on the style and depending on how you're comfortable, there are so many different techniques that you can use to play your kick drum. I find myself doing a lot of heel up for like rock, metal, funk, all that kind of stuff, and honestly, a lot of jazz too. But we should probably get the foot cam back.
Get the foot cam.
So like the normal one for me, normal changes depending on who you're talking to.
Shouts to Cary Young. He's doing a great job.
Yeah.
Get his feet. All right.
Okay. So like this is heel up. It's kind of like you lift your leg up and your ankle kind of like pivots and, you know, moves so that it's like a fluid motion, you know. You know, that's kind of bouncing. It's not really sliding for me. Like if you're doing like the fast stuff, like I'm really bad at it, but like that's yeah. Are you bouncing or are you just like
I'm
toughing
just
it
straight
out?
doing my ankle. I can't bounce.
Oh, we almost had like a that was cool. That was cool.
We should play Hot for Teacher, but with 2 people. I'm just kidding. Anyways, keep going.
But like there's that, and then there's heel down, which is pretty self-explanatory. You just kind of use your foot and like this general area, like your leg doesn't really move.
Yes.
There's swivel for like the faster stuff. So like, you know, kind of you're getting 2 strokes out of one thing, but wait, no, that doesn't make any sense. Like you're left for one, right for the other, and then you can do that, you know, especially with like really fast double kick stuff. So like, and then
so
heel
awesome.
toe, which I have not put in the work for that one, but it's like basically it's not really heel toe, but you're slamming your whole foot down so that it's kind of like in between a heel up and a heel down. So like you're technically yeah. So like you're on the first one, you're not actually hitting with your heel. You're like kind of bouncing it so that it does that, and then on the upstroke, you're doing another one.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So I really suck at that one though.
No.
Like some people swear by it and like cool, but like I can't.
Right.
Yeah, you know. But
Yeah, I mean, that can get meticulous too, but there's definitely not like one way that you choose or something like
Oh,
that.
no.
And I think, Cary, we can transition away from the foot cam. But
Thanks, bud.
because thanks, Cary. You're doing a great job. Let's hear it for Cary. All right. All right. I have one more question for you, and it's a question that I ask all my guests.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a different question than what Ethan asks, but it's more of like a chance for you to shine.
Okay.
It's I want you to show me like what first thing that comes to mind, like kind of the craziest thing you can do, and kind of explain what you're doing. Like just like if you're at a show, right, and you're like either taking a solo or like you're like ready to, you know, whatever, and there's a lady that you're trying to swoon, right, and you're like, okay, check this out, like,
Yeah,
what's that thing?
There's a couple different answers for me. There's
Fantastic.
like one of the things that I've put the most time into working on, which would be the groove from the Times 777-9311.
Oh shit.
There's the split singles, you know, if I want to just do something that will absolutely get me fired, if it's anything other than Rick, Unfinished Evolution, or Cutting Ties. And then if I'm trying to impress a lady, which, first off, if you're playing drums, good luck. You know, if I'm doing that, then I'm literally just going all out. Like, I'm not thinking about anything.
Yeah.
I'm trying to move as much as possible to make it look harder.
Sure.
But I try not to do that because it's exhausting,
If
and
you've
I don't
learned-
like doing that.
If you've learned anything from this episode, what Brandon just said, we're phonies. And we
Well, no.
I'm just
No,
kidding. I'm just
I mean,
kidding.
you know, if it's Bonham, like, that dude's actually doing it for a purpose.
Yeah.
But, like, I've found in my personal experience that being super flashy and, you know, just kind of sounding like you're Tommy Lee or something, that, like, it does nothing for me.
Right.
I don't know if that makes me sound pretentious, but, you know, I try to do things that are a little bit, you know, more musically advanced.
Sure. So hit me with something that's super musically advanced. I want you to wow me and all of the viewers in the room.
Okay, so this is 777-9311. I'm gonna have to move this.
That's fine.
But
And then
been a
you can
minute
slow
since
it
I played
down and show us what you're doing.
okay. So it's like.
Slow it down a little bit. or if you can. Wait. Sorry. That's awesome. That kind of reminds me, in a really twisted way, of that Paul Simon song. It's like, "Hop on the bus, Gus." It's like, I learned it in a drum lesson once.
Is it? Oh yeah, 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. Is that what?
Oh yeah, that's it. Shit.
Yeah, that one's fun.
Yeah, that's the shit. All right, Brandon, this has been a really good time, and I have a feeling there will be a part 2 at some point.
Oh, please.
Because I could talk to you about drums for a very long time.
Likewise.
The way that I want to end this, as opposed to, pleasantries. Thank you for watching Sticks and Tricks. I'm JJ Young, Steel City Death Club Recordings production. Go buy our merch, steelcitydeathclub.com/store. Brandon's a Steel City Death Club artist. Give him his love. I'll have his. We'll have his. His socials in the doobly-doo in the bottom and all that stuff. But I want to close this out with just a, let's play something. Let's go nuts. Let's jam a little bit.
All right.
Just lead it off. Whatever you want to do, I'll follow.
All right. Let's see here.
Very much, Brandon. Cutting ties. Rick, so forth and so on. Brandon Kaltenbaugh, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching Sticks and Tricks. JJ Young. We'll be back another time with more drummers, maybe. Bye-bye.